The betrayal. Welcome to Grandma Stories Vault. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. A life that looked perfect. My name is Elena Martinez. I am 32 years old. I live in Miami, Florida, in a beautiful apartment with ocean views. For 5 years, I thought I had everything. A loving husband, a comfortable life, and dreams for the future. But sometimes, the life we see is not the life we have. Sometimes, everything we believe is just a beautiful lie. My husband's name was Marcus Davis. We met 7 years ago at a coffee shop in downtown Miami. I was reading a book about art history. He sat next to me and said, "That's a beautiful book. Do you love art?" I smiled. We talked for 3 hours. He was charming, funny, and ambitious. He worked as a financial manager at a big investment company called Sterling Capital Group. He wore expensive suits. He drove a nice car. He made me feel special. We dated for 2 years. He proposed to me on a beach at sunset. The ring was beautiful. I cried tears of joy. We got married in a small ceremony with our families and close friends. I wore a simple white dress. He looked at me like I was the only woman in the world. I believed him. I believed everything. When love started to change. The first 3 years of our marriage were good. We traveled together. We had dinner dates every Friday. We talked about having children. Marcus worked hard, but he always came home. He always kissed me goodnight. He always said, "I love you, Elena." But then, something changed. It started slowly, like a crack in a beautiful painting. You don't notice it at first, but then it grows. It spreads. It destroys everything. Marcus started working late, very late. He would come home at midnight, sometimes at 1 in the morning. "Big project at work," he would say. "The boss needs me to finish this deal." I believed him. Why wouldn't I? I was his wife. I trusted him. Then came the phone calls. His phone would ring at dinner. He would look at it, frown, and say, "Work. I need to take this." He would go to another room. He would close the door. I could hear his voice, soft and secretive. When he came back, I would ask, "Is everything okay?" He would smile and say, "Yes, just work stress." The distance between us, our Friday dinner dates stopped. "I'm too tired," Marcus would say. "Let's just order food and watch TV." But even when we watched TV together, he wasn't really there. He would stare at his phone. He would text someone. When I asked who, he would say, "Just my coworker about a project." Our conversations became shorter. I would tell him about my day, about the new art class I wanted to take, about my plans to start painting again. He would nod, but his eyes were empty. He wasn't listening. He was somewhere else, with someone else. The worst part was the coldness. Marcus stopped touching me. No more kisses in the morning. No more hugs when he came home. We slept in the same bed, but we were miles apart. I would lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering what happened. Was I not pretty enough? Was I not interesting enough? What did I do wrong? I tried everything. I cooked his favorite meals. I wore beautiful dresses. I suggested we take a trip together, just the two of us. He always had an excuse. "Maybe next month," he would say. "Work is crazy right now." The day everything shattered. It was a Thursday afternoon in September. I remember because the weather was changing. The summer heat was fading. There was a cool breeze coming through our apartment windows. I was cleaning our bedroom, organizing Marcus's closet. He had asked me to take some of his old suits to the dry cleaner. As I went through his jacket pockets to make sure they were empty, I found something. A receipt. At first I thought nothing of it. But then I looked closer. It was from Tiffany & Company, the expensive jewelry store. The date was 2 weeks ago. The amount was $3,500. My heart started beating faster. I looked at my hand. My wedding ring was old, simple. Marcus had never bought me jewelry that expensive. For our last anniversary, he gave me a card and said, "Money is tight right now, babe. I'll make it up to you." But he had $3,500 for jewelry? For who? I searched his other pockets. I found more receipts. expensive restaurants where we never ate together, a hotel reservation for 2 people in South Beach, flowers from a fancy florist, lingerie from a boutique store, size small. I was size medium. My hands trembled. My breath came in short gasps. I sat on the floor of our bedroom, surrounded by receipts, and I felt my world crumbling. My husband was buying gifts for another woman. My husband was taking another woman to hotels. My husband was living a double life. The pain of truth. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. I just sat there, crying silently, holding those receipts in my shaking hands. How long had this been going on? Who was she? Did he love her? Did he ever really love me? Questions filled my mind like poison. Every memory became suspicious. Every late night at work became a lie. Every business trip became a romantic getaway with her. Every time he said, "I love you," became a cruel joke. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break things. I wanted to confront him right then, throw those receipts in his face, and demand the truth. But something stopped me. A voice inside me said, "Wait, you need more information. You need proof. You need to be smart." So I put the receipts back in his pocket. I hung his suit back in the closet. I washed my face. I fixed my makeup. And I waited, building my case. That night, Marcus came home at 11:30 p.m. "Sorry, babe," he said, kissing my cheek quickly. Work was insane today. I smiled. I served him dinner. I acted normal. But inside, I was screaming. The next morning, after Marcus left for work, I went to see my younger brother, Diego. Diego was 28 years old. He worked in cybersecurity and knew everything about computers and phones. We met at a small cafe near his office. "Elena, what's wrong?" he asked when he saw my face. "You look terrible." I told him everything. The receipts, the late nights, the coldness. Diego's face turned dark with anger. "That bastard," he said. "I never liked him. I'm gonna help you, sis. We're going to find out exactly what he's doing." Diego explained that he could help me access Marcus's credit card statements, his phone records, even his email if needed. "But you need to be sure you want to know," Diego said. "Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it." "I need to know," I said. "I need the whole truth. The investigation begins." Over the next 2 weeks, Diego worked his magic. He was careful, legal, and thorough. He accessed the credit card statements that came to our home address. Since I was Marcus's wife, it wasn't illegal for me to see them. What I found broke my heart into a million pieces. Marcus had a secret credit card I never knew about. On it were charges I couldn't believe. 5-star hotels every other weekend. Expensive jewelry stores. Romantic restaurants. Spa treatments for 2. Weekend trips to Key West, Orlando, and even New York City. All while he told me we couldn't afford a vacation. But the worst discovery was yet to come. Diego found something else. Text messages. Marcus had been backing up his phone to a cloud account, and Diego found a way to access it. What I read made me physically sick. The messages were between Marcus and someone named Jessica. They were filled with love notes, intimate details, and future plans. "I can't wait to be with you forever," Marcus wrote to her. "Soon I'll tell Elena about the divorce. Then we can finally be together." Divorce. He was planning to divorce me, and he hadn't even told me. Meeting the other woman. I needed to know who Jessica was. Diego found her social media profiles easily. Her full name was Jessica Thornton. She was 28 years old, beautiful, with long blonde hair and a bright smile. She worked at the same company as Marcus Sterling Capital Group. She was a junior analyst in his department. They worked together every day. They saw each other every day. And I, his wife, was at home alone thinking everything was fine. I looked through Jessica's photos. There were pictures of her at fancy restaurants, the same ones on Marcus's credit card. Pictures of her wearing a diamond necklace that looked exactly like the one from the Tiffany & Company receipt. Pictures of her in hotels, on beaches, looking happy and in love. And then I saw something that made my blood run cold. A photo from 2 months ago. Jessica was wearing a beautiful dress. standing next to Marcus at what looked like a company event. The caption said, "With my amazing boyfriend at the Sterling Capital Summer Gala. So lucky to have him." Boyfriend. She called him her boyfriend. She didn't know he was married. Or maybe she did and didn't care. The master plan. I could have confronted Marcus that day. I could have screamed, cried, thrown him out. But Diego gave me a better idea. "Marcus has a big event coming up," Diego said. "The Sterling Capital Annual Winter Gala. It's in 3 weeks. All the company executives will be there. It's a huge deal for him." "So?" I asked. "So," Diego smiled. "What if you showed up there and exposed him in front of everyone? In front of his boss, his colleagues, and his mistress? What if you made sure everyone knew what kind of man Marcus Davis really is?" I thought about it. The idea was terrifying, but it was also perfect. Marcus had humiliated me in private for months. He had lied to me, betrayed me, and planned to divorce me without warning. He deserved to face the consequences publicly. "I'll do it," I said. "But I need more proof. I need everything." Over the next 3 weeks, Diego and I worked together like detectives. We gathered every piece of evidence. We printed credit card statements. We saved text messages. We downloaded photos. We created a complete timeline of Marcus's affair. We even found proof that Marcus had been taking money from our joint savings account to fund his double life. But we found something else too. Something much worse. Marcus wasn't just having an affair. He was also stealing from his company. The bigger crime. Diego discovered that Marcus had been creating fake expense reports at work. He would claim he was traveling for business, get reimbursed by the company, but actually use that money to take Jessica on romantic trips. He had stolen over $50,000 from Sterling Capital Group over the past year. "This isn't just infidelity," Diego said. "This is fraud. He could go to jail for this." I felt a strange mixture of emotions. Part of me still loved the man I married. But that man didn't exist anymore. The real Marcus was a liar, a cheater, and a thief. And he needed to face justice. "We're going to expose everything at the gala," I said. His affair, his theft, all of it. The emotional storm. The night before the gala, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed next to Marcus, this stranger who I had loved for 7 years. He was sleeping peacefully, without guilt, without shame. Meanwhile, I was dying inside. Part of me wanted to wake him up and ask, "Why? Why did you do this to me? What did I do wrong?" But I knew the answer. I didn't do anything wrong. This wasn't about me. This was about him, his selfishness, his weakness, his lies. I got up quietly and went to the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked tired, sad, broken. But tomorrow I would look different. Tomorrow I would be strong. Tomorrow I would get my revenge. I whispered to my reflection, "Tomorrow Marcus Davis will regret the day he decided to betray me." The morning of battle. I woke up at 6 a.m. on the day of the gala. Marcus was still sleeping beside me, snoring softly like he didn't have a care in the world. I looked at him one last time as my husband. By tonight, everything would be different. By tonight, the whole world would know who Marcus Davis really was. I got out of bed quietly and went to the kitchen. My hands were shaking as I made coffee. I had barely slept. My mind kept going over the plan over and over. What if something went wrong? What if I couldn't go through with it? What if Marcus found out before the gala? My phone buzzed. It was a text from my best friend, Sophia. "Good morning, warrior queen. Today is your day. I'm here for you. Call me when you're ready." Sophia had been my best friend since college. She was the first person I told about Marcus's affair after Diego. She cried with me, held me when I broke down, and supported my plan for revenge. Today she would be by my side. Marcus walked into the kitchen at 7:30 a.m., already dressed in his work clothes. "Morning, babe," he said casually, pouring himself coffee. "Big day today. The gala is tonight. I'll probably be home late because I need to help set things up." I smiled at him. "Of course. I hope it goes well." He kissed my forehead, grabbed his briefcase, and left. He had no idea that I would be at that gala. He had no idea that his perfect life was about to explode. Gathering the army. At 10 a.m., Sophia arrived at my apartment. She brought her sister, Carmen, who was a professional makeup artist. "We're going to make you look absolutely stunning," Sophia said, hugging me tight. "When Marcus sees you tonight, his jaw is going to drop." "Before he sees me, I need to make sure everything is ready," I said. I showed them the folder Diego had prepared. Inside was every piece of evidence. Printed credit card statements, screenshots of text messages between Marcus and Jessica, photos of them together, and documents showing Marcus's fraudulent expense reports. "This is solid," Carmen said, looking through the papers. "He's done for." Diego arrived at noon with his laptop. "I've created a presentation," he said. "All the evidence organized in a slideshow. Photos, messages, financial records, everything. I also made backup copies on 3 USB drives, just in case." "You're a genius," I told him. "No," Diego said seriously. "I'm just a brother who loves his sister and wants to protect her. That guy hurt you, Elena. He deserves what's coming." The transformation. At 2 p.m., the transformation began. Carmen worked on my hair first. She curled it in soft waves, making it look elegant and sophisticated. Then came the makeup. She gave me dramatic eyes with smoky shadow, perfect skin, and bold red lips. "You look like a movie star," Sophia said, tears in her eyes. Next came the dress. Sophia had helped me choose it a week ago. It was a stunning red gown, form-fitting with a slit up the side. It was bold, confident, powerful. It was the dress of a woman who wasn't hiding anymore. I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. I looked strong. I looked beautiful. I looked ready for war. "Marcus is going to regret everything," Carmen said. "Yes," I replied. "He is." Final preparations. At 5 p.m., we reviewed the plan one final time. Diego had hacked into the gala's AV system remotely. "When you give me the signal, I'll take control of the main screen," he explained. "I'll display all the evidence for everyone to see." "What if security stops me?" I asked. "They won't," Sophia said. "I called the event coordinator and added your name to the guest list. I told them you were Marcus Davis's wife and wanted to surprise him." She thought it was romantic. I had to laugh at the irony. Romantic. This would be the opposite of romantic. "What about Jessica?" I asked. "Will she be there?" Diego checked his laptop. "According to the company website, all employees are invited. She'll definitely be there." Expense reports. "This is solid," Carmen said, looking through the papers. "He's done for." Diego arrived at noon with his laptop. "I've created a presentation," he said. "All the evidence organized in a slideshow. Photos, messages, financial records, everything. I also made backup copies on 3 USB drives, just in case." "You're a genius," I told him. "No," Diego said seriously. "I'm just a brother who loves his sister and wants to protect her. That guy hurt you, Elena. He deserves what's coming." The transformation. At 2 p.m., the transformation began. Carmen worked on my hair first. She curled it in soft waves, making it look elegant and sophisticated. Then came the makeup. She gave me dramatic eyes with smoky shadow, perfect skin, and bold red lips. "You look like a movie star," Sophia said, tears in her eyes. Next came the dress. Sophia had helped me choose it a week ago. It was a stunning red gown, form-fitting with a slit up the side. It was bold, confident, powerful. It was the dress of a woman who wasn't hiding anymore. I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. I looked strong. I looked beautiful. I looked ready for war. "Marcus is going to regret everything," Carmen said. "Yes," I replied. "He is." Final preparations. At 5 p.m., we reviewed the plan one final time. Diego had hacked into the gala's AV system remotely. "When you give me the signal, I'll take control of the main screen," he explained. "I'll display all the evidence for everyone to see." What if security stops me? I asked. They won't, Sophia said. I called the event coordinator and added your name to the guest list. I told them you were Marcus Davis's wife and wanted to surprise him. She thought it was romantic. I had to laugh at the irony. Romantic. This would be the opposite of romantic. What about Jessica? I asked. Will she be there? Diego checked his laptop. According to the company website, all employees are invited. She'll definitely be there. Probably on Marcus's arm. My stomach churned at the thought, but I pushed the feeling away. Tonight wasn't about emotion. Tonight was about justice. Entering the Lion's Den. The gala was at the Fontainebleau Hotel, one of the most luxurious hotels in Miami Beach. Sophia drove me there in her car. Diego followed in his own car with all the equipment. As we pulled up to the grand entrance, I felt my heart racing. You can do this, Sophia said, squeezing my hand. Remember, you're the victim here. You did nothing wrong. He's the one who should be ashamed. I took a deep breath, stepped out of the car, and walked toward the entrance. The doorman opened the door for me. Good evening, ma'am. You look beautiful. Thank you, I said, holding my head high. Inside, the hotel ballroom was magnificent. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. Round tables covered in white linens filled the room. A stage at the front had a podium and a massive screen. There were at least 300 people there, all dressed in expensive suits and elegant gowns. I showed my invitation to the woman at the check-in table. She smiled. Elena Davis, welcome. Your husband is already here. What a lovely surprise for him. Yes, I said. A surprise he'll never forget. The hunt begins. I walked into the ballroom slowly, scanning the crowd for Marcus. Sophia walked beside me, her phone ready to record everything. Diego had positioned himself near the AV control booth, ready to take over the screen. And then I saw him. Marcus was standing near the bar, laughing with a group of colleagues. He wore a black tuxedo that I had never seen before. He looked handsome, confident, successful. He looked like a man who had everything. But he wasn't alone. Next to him, holding his arm, was Jessica. She wore a tight silver dress, her blonde hair swept up in an elegant bun. She looked young, happy, completely unaware that her world was about to collapse. I watched as Marcus whispered something in her ear. She giggled and kissed his cheek. In that moment, I felt a surge of anger so powerful that I almost marched over there immediately. But I controlled myself. I needed to wait for the right moment. That's her, Sophia whispered. Yes, I said through clenched teeth. That's Jessica Thornton, the woman who destroyed my marriage. She has no idea what's coming, Sophia said with satisfaction. Playing the game. I decided to walk around the room first, to let people see me. Several of Marcus's colleagues recognized me from company parties years ago.
Elena.
How wonderful to see you, they said. We didn't know you were coming. I wanted to surprise my husband, I said with a sweet smile. He's been working so hard lately. I thought I'd show him how proud I am. They had no idea that every word was dripping with sarcasm. They had no idea that in less than an hour, their respected colleague would be exposed as a fraud and a cheat. I positioned myself across the room where I could watch Marcus without him seeing me. He was laughing, drinking champagne, touching Jessica's waist possessively. He looked so comfortable in his lies. He had been living this double life for so long that it seemed natural to him. The moment approaches. At 7:30 p.m., the company CEO, Mr. Richard Sterling, took the stage. He was a tall man in his 60s with silver hair and an authoritative voice. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sterling Capital Group's annual Winter Gala. Everyone applauded. Mr. Sterling continued, Tonight, we celebrate another year of success, hard work, and dedication. I want to thank all of you for your contributions to our company. He talked for 10 minutes about company achievements, profits, and future plans. Then he said something that made my heart race. Before dinner is served, I'd like to invite one of our top performers to say a few words. Marcus Davis, would you please come to the stage? This was it. Marcus was going to speak. This was the perfect moment to strike. Marcus looked surprised but pleased. He kissed Jessica's cheek, straightened his tie, and walked confidently to the stage. Mr. Sterling shook his hand and gave him the microphone. "Thank you, Mr. Sterling," Marcus began. "It's an honor to speak tonight. This year has been incredible for me, both professionally and personally. I felt sick. Professionally and personally? Was he really going to stand there and lie to everyone?" The interruption. Marcus continued. "I've worked hard to build my career here at Sterling Capital. I've also been fortunate in my personal life. I found love, happiness, and—" "Stop!" I shouted, stepping forward into the light. The entire ballroom went silent. 300 heads turned to look at me. Marcus froze on stage, his face going pale. Jessica stood up from her table, confused. I walked slowly toward the stage, my red dress flowing behind me. Every eye was on me. I could hear whispers. "Who is that? What's happening? Is that Marcus's wife?" Marcus stared at me in shock.
Elena?
What are you doing here?" I climbed onto the stage and stood face to face with my husband. "What am I doing here?" "I came to hear your speech, darling. Please, continue. Tell everyone about your personal happiness. Tell them about the love you found." "Elena, I don't know what. Don't lie." I cut him off. My voice was loud, clear, amplified by the microphone. "You've been lying for a year. Don't start again now." The evidence revealed. I turned to face the audience. "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Elena Martinez Davis. I am Marcus's wife. We've been married for 5 years. But my husband has been living a double life." Gasps filled the room. Jessica's face turned white. Mr. Sterling looked confused and angry. "Diego now," I said loudly. Suddenly, the large screen behind me lit up. The first image appeared. Marcus and Jessica kissing at a restaurant. The date stamp showed it was from 6 months ago. "This is Jessica Thornton," I said, pointing at her in the audience. "She's my husband's mistress. They've been having an affair for over a year." The screen changed to show text messages between Marcus and Jessica. Intimate messages, love confessions, plans for their future together. People in the audience gasped and whispered. Jessica stood up, tears streaming down her face. "Marcus, you told me you were divorced. You said you were single." "I am not divorced," I said firmly. "We are still married. He lied to you, just like he lied to me." The financial betrayal. The screen changed again, now showing credit card statements. "Marcus has been spending thousands of dollars on his affair," I explained. "Hotels, jewelry, romantic trips. This necklace Jessica is wearing." I pointed at the diamond necklace around her neck. "It cost $3,500. I found the receipt." Jessica's hand flew to her necklace. She looked at Marcus with horror and betrayal. "But that's not all," I continued. The screen now showed bank statements from our joint account. "Marcus has been stealing from our savings. Money we were saving to buy a house to start a family. He stole $30,000 to fund his affair." The audience was in complete shock. People were standing now, trying to see the screen better. Mr. Sterling's face was red with anger. "The criminal confession. And there's more," I said. "Marcus hasn't just betrayed me. He's betrayed all of you, his company, his colleagues." The screen now showed Marcus's fake expense reports. For the past year, Marcus has been filing fraudulent expense claims. He would say he was traveling for business, get reimbursed by Sterling Capital, but actually use that money for personal trips with his mistress. I could see Mr. Sterling's hands clenching into fists. "He's stolen over $50,000 from this company," I said. "I have all the evidence right here." Diego appeared beside me with a folder. I held it up. Fake receipts, false travel claims, unauthorized reimbursements. Everything is documented. Marcus finally found his voice. "Elena, please, let me explain." "Explain." I turned to him. "Explain how you called me every night from hotel rooms with her. Telling me you were working late? Explain how you bought her expensive gifts while telling me we couldn't afford a vacation? Explain how you planned to divorce me without even telling me. The public execution. The screen showed one final text message from Marcus to Jessica. Soon I'll tell Elena about the divorce. Then we can finally be together. She'll never see it coming. I felt tears in my eyes, but I didn't let them fall. You were going to divorce me without warning. After 5 years of marriage, you were just going to throw me away like garbage. Marcus tried to step toward me. Elena, I'm sorry, I was confused. Don't touch me. I stepped back. You are a liar, a cheater, and a thief. And now everyone knows it. Mr. Sterling stood up. Security. Escort Mr. Davis out immediately. Marcus Davis, you are fired. We will be pressing charges for fraud and embezzlement. 2 security guards appeared and grabbed Marcus by the arms. He looked around desperately. Wait, please. I can explain everything. This is all a misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding, I said calmly, was me believing you were a good man. Jessica's revelation. As security dragged Marcus away, Jessica ran to the stage. Elena, I'm so sorry. I didn't know he was married. He showed me fake divorce papers. He told me you were his ex-wife. I looked at her. She was young, naive, and had been lied to just like me. You're a victim too, Jessica. He used both of us. Jessica collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Several people from the audience came to comfort her. Sophia appeared at my side, hugging me. You did it, she whispered. You exposed him. I looked at the crowd. Some people were staring at me with sympathy. Others were recording on their phones. The whole event would be on social media within minutes. Marcus's reputation was destroyed forever. The aftermath begins. Mr. Sterling approached me. Mrs. Davis, I am deeply sorry for what happened. I assure you that Sterling Capital will cooperate fully with any legal action you choose to take against Marcus. He will face criminal charges for what he's done to our company. Thank you, I said. I have copies of all the evidence for your legal team. He nodded. And please know, you have shown tremendous courage tonight. Not many people would have the strength to do what you just did. I handed him the folder. He didn't just betray me. He betrayed all of you. He stole from your company. He deserves to be punished. As I walked off the stage, people parted to let me through. Some women squeezed my hand as I passed. Good for you, one whispered. He deserved that, said another. The victory walk. Sophia, Diego, Carmen, and I left the hotel together. As we stepped outside into the warm Miami night, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Freedom. The weight I had been carrying was gone. The lies were exposed. The truth was out. Elena, you were incredible, Diego said, hugging me tight. I'm so proud of you. That was the most badass thing I've ever seen, Carmen added. You destroyed him. Sophia held my hand. How do you feel? I thought about it. I feel free. For the first time in a year, I feel like I can breathe. We got into the car and drove away from the hotel. As we pulled onto the highway, I looked back one last time. The Fontainebleau Hotel glittered in the distance, beautiful and bright. Inside that hotel, Marcus's life was falling apart. His career was over. His reputation was ruined. His relationship with Jessica was destroyed. And I, Elena Martinez, was finally free. The night of revelation. That night, I stayed at Sophia's house. I couldn't bear to go back to the apartment I shared with Marcus. Diego and Carmen stayed too. We sat in Sophia's living room, drinking wine, talking about everything that had happened. Have you checked social media? Diego asked, scrolling through his phone. No, I said. Should I? The video is everywhere, he said. Someone recorded your speech. It's gone viral. You're trending on Twitter. I looked at his phone. There were hundreds of comments. She's a hero. That man is disgusting. Good for her for exposing him. This is what happens when you cheat. There were also comments defending Marcus, calling me dramatic and saying I should have handled it privately. but most people supported me. You're famous, Sophia said with a smile. I don't want to be famous, I replied. I just wanted justice. My phone rang. It was a number I didn't recognize. I answered cautiously. Hello, Mrs. Davis, this is Rebecca Chun from Channel 7 News. We'd like to interview you about what happened tonight at the Sterling Capitol Gala. Would you be willing to share your story? I looked at my friends. They nodded encouragingly. Yes, I said. I'll tell my story, the whole truth. As I hung up, I realized something. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about speaking up. This was about showing other women that they don't have to stay silent when they're betrayed. They don't have to suffer in silence. They have the right to demand justice. Tomorrow is going to be interesting, I said. Tomorrow, Sophia replied. You start your new life. To be continued in part 3. Have you ever had to stand up for yourself against someone who betrayed you? Share your story in the comments below. Word count, 2,089 words. B3 Part 3. The Healing and New Beginning. Welcome back to Grandma Stories Vault. This is the final part of Elena's story. Make sure you've watched parts 1 and 2 first. The morning after. I woke up on Sophia's couch with sunlight streaming through the windows. For a moment, I forgot where I was. Then everything came rushing back. The gala, the exposure, Marcus being dragged away by security. I sat up and checked my phone.